the Avenue Church Online, thank you for joining us today. We hope that you're doing well from wherever you're watching from. We still miss you here at the church building, but so glad to worship with you through this virtual campus. This is going to be a huge week in the life of the Avenue Church. There's a few things going on this week that we should all be excited about. The first thing that we should be excited about is we're planning a huge outdoor worship experience on May 24th, this coming Sunday, 7:30 p.m. We're going to welcome everyone back to the church campus that wants to come. We're going to be streaming this live for those of you who would rather stay home and continue to shelter in place. But this is going to be a great opportunity for the church to come back together and be in the same place, worshiping the one true God together. This week is also our pastor, David Brown's 30th anniversary leading the Avenue Church. And that's a huge accomplishment for any pastor to stay in one place, especially knowing us, the Avenue Church. We're not the easiest group to get along with and lead, but David has done such a great job the last 30 years, and it's an honor to work alongside of him, to be under his pastoring and his leadership here at the Avenue Church. I know many of you have stories and memories from David's time here at the Avenue Church and just the way he's led families, how the way he's led this community to worshiping God and to knowing who Jesus is and what church is really all about. If you have a story that you would like to share about how David has touched your life or how he has made an impact in your family's life and your journey in faith, we'd love for you to share that story. You can share it by tagging the Avenue Church on Facebook or on Twitter. You can send an email or a 20-second video to memories@theavenuechurch.com. We want to collect some inspiration, some encouragement of just letting David know how much he has meant to us the last 30 years. And so we invite you to share one of those stories with us, and we look forward to celebrating not only David's 30th anniversary, but being back together next weekend on May 24th. It's going to be an incredible time. For the next 30 or 40 minutes, we invite you to turn your attention to God and worship Him from wherever you are, to turn your whole life to Him and say, God, I believe in you. I know that there is a hope and a future for me, and to worship Him with all that you have. Thank you for joining us again.
Sorrow comes to steal the joy I own. When brokenness and pain is all I know, oh, I won't be shaken. No, I won't be shaken. 'Cause my fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love.
bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. So I stop all negotiations with the God of all creation. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought you were.
God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time. With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of light. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets fall. If the stars were made to worship, so am I. I can see your heart in everything you've made. Every burning star, a signifier of grace. Your creation sings your praises so promise. You don't speak in vain, no syllable empty or void. For once you have spoken, all nature and science follow the sound of your voice. And as you speak, 100 billion creatures catch your breath, evolving in pursuit of what you say. If it all reveals your nature so alive, I can see your heart in everything you say. Every painted sky, a canvas of your grace. Creation still obeys you so so alive. If the mountains bow and rivers, so will I. If the oceans roar your greatness, so will I. For if everything exists to lift you high, so will I. If the wind goes where you send, so will I. If the rocks failure and pride. On a hill you created, the light of the world, abandoned in darkness to die. And as you speak, but what measure could amount to your desire? You're the one who never leaves or
Once again, thank you for joining us online today. We hope that you feel encouraged, reminded of God's love and desire to be with you in all circumstances. We want to once again invite you May 24th to join us here at the Waxahachie campus. We're going to be in the West Lawn. We're going to be worshiping outside. For those of you who would rather stay home and keep your social distance, that's fine. We're going to be streaming online. We're also going to be offering the opportunity to worship from your car here in the parking lot. And so wherever you are, wherever you find yourself spiritually, emotionally, or physically, we hope that you know that the Avenue Church loves you, that the Avenue Church is here to walk with you, to be with you. We also encourage you to write a note to your pastor who's celebrating 30 years here at the Avenue Church this week. An incredible accomplishment of walking with God and leading God's people in faithfulness for 30 years. And so if Pastor David has made a mark on your life, made an impact in your life, we invite you to share that story. You can either do that through Facebook or Twitter, or you can send a 20-second video or a note of encouragement to memories@theavenuechurch.com. We hope you guys are well. Can't wait to be with you again. Hope to see you May 24th, whether online or here at the Waxahachie campus. You guys take care.
Welcome to the Avenue Online Experience. I'm so glad that you have joined us online. I'm so glad we're able to bring this to you. I know many of you cannot wait to get back together. And I know online does not feel like church to so many of us. But we know how important it is to be together. And so next week, we're going to attempt an outdoor event. At 7:30 next Sunday, the 24th, we're going to have worship starting at 7:30. We're going to open the campus at 7. We're going to ask you to maintain social distance, to refrain from hugging and shaking hands. And I know how hard that's going to be, especially if you have children. We're going to ask you to come and set up in chairs or blankets all over the campus, or if you're more comfortable staying in your car. If you have children, we're going to ask you to keep them with you, because I know their tendency is going to want to be to see their friends and run and have a great time. I get that. If you think that would be too much for you, or maybe you're still afraid to get out in public, you need to keep your family safe, we understand that too. We're going to offer an online experience for you. It's going to be Sunday night instead of Sunday morning, so you can tune in and watch online. Or if you're ready just to get out and be together in this limited format, we want you to come out on the 24th. As far as services starting again, we sent out some questionnaires. We're trying to find out how you feel about meeting together and how you feel about meeting together under these circumstances. And so you be praying for your pastor and staff as we continue to try to follow the rules. We submit to authority, but also gather, because, man, it's just not the same without you in the room. And we want to be in the room together, but we want to be in the room together with the Avenue style, with the loving each other and caring for each other and being together, not just being in the same room. So with that in mind, next week, 24th, we'd love for you to come. Now, we've talked about this shelter in place, and our goal during this series is how we can come out of this shelter better. Now, there's some things that have happened for us to come out better. We have slowed down. Our pace has slowed down. We haven't been so involved in all of these activities and all of these things going on. We're not out every night of the week. It's caused us to spend time as a family. It's caused us to eat together. It's caused us to do education together by homeschooling. There's been some good things that have come out of this. And so one of the things people ask me is, did God cause this? Did God send this plague so we'd slow down? Or the question is, did God send this as a judgment because the world's about to end? I've heard all of those things, and those are not answered easily. But I do know this: God is not the author of evil. If something is evil, God did not bring it to us. God did not send a plague on us. That is not the God that we see. The God of the New Testament explains himself that he does not do harm. There is no evil. He does not do anything to cause us to sin, that only good things come from God. So we have to figure out, why do these bad things happen? How do we answer that? Now, as a Christian, we've never taught that bad things don't happen to good people. We can't teach that. I mean, come on. The best person possible had the worst outcome possible. I mean, Jesus, who lived a perfect life, came into this world and had it pretty bad. In fact, he was tortured and hung on a cross, a most cruel way to die. Good things didn't happen to him. And if good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people, man, he should have had an amazing life here on the earth. And I know there are some Christians who think that if anything bad happens in our life, we just need to have enough faith, or we have prayer and we can pray that away, or we can have faith that away. But that hadn't been my experience. I haven't seen that. There's some things so evil in this world, and there's some things that are so bad that I can't explain, that can't be prayed away. You can't have enough faith to get over it. And so we have to answer that question if we're going to reach people and explain God in a way that they can understand. We've got to answer the question, if God is powerful and God is good, why do bad things happen? Especially, why do bad things happen to good people? Now, we understand when bad things happen to bad people, but we don't understand when a child has something bad happen to them. Well, we don't get that. We don't understand when bad things happen to people who've lived good lives. And so as followers, we've got to answer that question. Where did this evil come from? We love to think that we're just getting our just desserts, that bad people are going to have bad things happen. If you're a good person, good things are going to happen. But I want you to know, even though God does not bring pain, the Bible tells us he doesn't bring pain in our life. Even though he doesn't bring pain, he does use it. C.S. Lewis wrote it this way, and I love this statement. Listen to this statement. God whispers to us in our pleasures. He speaks in our conscience, but he shouts in our pain. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. Now, you and I both know people who've walked away from God because of pain in their life. But we've also known people who've run to God because of pain in their life. So here's the thing. We're all going to have pain in our life. It depends on what we do with it. What are we going to do when circumstances come into our life that can't be explained? When bad things happen, when people betray us, when people hurt us, when things are going on that we have no control of. As a follower, how are we going to deal with the brutal truth of our life? How are we going to deal with the things that are happening. Well, there's an interview that was done by Jim Collins of a man named Admiral Stockdale. Admiral Stockdale was the highest ranking prisoner of war during the Vietnam War. And they continued to try to use him for propaganda, but he refused. And because he refused to be used in their propaganda machine, he was beaten repeatedly, tortured over and over and over. And so in the interview, they asked him, how did you survive? How did you go through all this, these years with this abuse going on daily? And Admiral Stockdale said he never lost sight. He never lost hope in the end of the story. He knew this was not the end of the story. He knew that he was going to use this in his life as a springboard to do other things. He knew that he was going to get through this one day and look back at it. So he kept a future hope in the middle of his brutal truth. He also said that the men that didn't make it were the eternal optimists. They were the ones like those followers that say, you just got to pray, you just got to have faith, that had this internal optimism without facing the truth. He said, they'd say, we're going to be out by Christmas, and then Christmas would come and go. Or we're going to be out by Easter, and Easter would come and go. Or we're going to be out by summer, and then before they knew it, Christmas came up again. And he said they were so disillusioned and so broken that they actually died of a broken heart. He said the secret is facing the brutal truth in our life without giving up hope that there's more to the story. And I want to tell you, that's what we do as Christians, as followers. We have this wonderful hope. This is not the end of the story, but that doesn't mean we deny the truth that we're in. We deny that there are things in our world that are just evil. There are things in our world that we can't understand. There is pain in our world. There is all of this that comes on us, and we need to understand that. Now, it's easy for us to believe that good things happen to good people and bad things happen to sinners. In fact, even the Jewish people during Jesus' time, this is what they believed. In fact, in John chapter 9, Jesus is trying to help them understand that that is not how it works. So in John chapter 9, it says, as he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. So his disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? You see their question. This man was born blind. As a baby, he was blind. It has to be somebody's fault. So was it his parents' sin or his sin that caused that blindness? We want somebody to be responsible if a baby is born without sight. We want somebody to be responsible if something has happened in our lives that we can't explain. We want somebody to be responsible for this pandemic. But God looks at this and says, hey, let me show you. Neither this man nor his parents sinned. Neither this man nor his parents sinned, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. God didn't cause the blindness, but he'll use it for his glory. God didn't cause this pandemic, but he will use it for his glory. God is going to use pain in our life to his glory if we hold on to this in the end. There's more to it. So we can face the brutal truth that we're living in as long as we accept the fact that there's more going on. So where did this badness, where did this evil come from? Well, I want to show you. In the very beginning, it came. Creation has been cursed. You see, when sin entered the world, sin didn't come alone. Sin entered the world by one man's choice, a choice that we would have all made. But when sin entered the world, it brought death, decay, and corruption. In the book of Genesis, chapter 3, it says, to Adam he said, God is speaking, because you listened to your wife and ate fruit from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat from it. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. This shows that God put a curse on creation because of sin. So sin came in, and so did this curse with its decay, with its brokenness, with its corruptness. All of it came in together. Evil entered with sin. And so now, instead of being in this protective garden, God has sent them out into a world where an animal will eat you. In the New Testament, in Romans, it says, "For we know that the whole creation groans and suffers together until now." So this is where we live. We live in a fallen, decaying, corrupt world. We live among a fallen, dying, corrupt people. That's the brutal truth. Now, the thing we hold on to is that God has more to this story. And we're not living in the end of the story. And so as we face all of these things in this world, and you know, of course there's a global effect of sin. Think about it for a minute. All of you have experienced sin in your personal life and then had the consequences. Well, the world has consequences because of sin. There's this global effect, and we're living in that. That's the brutal truth. So we're going to have children born with illnesses. We're going to have people die of cancer way too young. We're going to have automobile accidents. We're going to have people betray you, hurt you. There's going to be wars. There's going to be earthquakes. There's going to be tornadoes, hurricanes. All of these things are part of the fall. But we still hung on to hope. The brutal truth is, we live in a corrupt, fallen world, including creation. But God's going to redeem it. That's the Christian hope. God's going to redeem it. Because of Jesus, he paid the penalty for all of that sin, and he's going to redeem us along with his creation. In that story where the blind man receives his sight from Jesus, Jesus goes on and tells his disciples, he says, "As long as it is day, we must do the works of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one will work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world." So in all of this darkness, in all of this brutal truth, in all of this evil, in all of this pain, whatever it is in your life, God didn't cause the illness. God didn't cause the abuse. God didn't cause the betrayal. But he's going to use it in your life. He's going to use it in your life because there is light, there is hope. Jesus says, "Surely I'm with you always to the very end of the age." This is not the end of the story. So how do we face evil? How do we face pain? How do we face questions that we can't answer? We tell a listening world, this is it. We live in this. This is the global result of sin. But there is hope. This is not the end of the story. Let me pray with you. Father, I thank you that you've written the entire story out for us to see. We thank you that there's going to be a time that we experience the fullness of creation as it was intended, where we live as a sinless people in a non-corrupt world, a world where the lion and the lamb lie together, where a child plays by the den of a spider or snake. It's amazing, God, that you're going to redeem all this, not because we deserve it, but because of your love. God, as we live in the brutal truth, help us hang on to that hope that the story is not over yet. There's more to it. Thank you, Father, in Jesus' name.
If you have any questions or need prayer, please email us at info@theavenuechurch.com. We are always here for you. Looking for ways to give from where you are? Text Avenue Give to 77977. Visit theavenuechurch.com to find online resources for you and your family at this time. And don't forget to subscribe and like us on social media to stay connected. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.